28th, 2020, 6:35. Calling the meeting to order. I will read the preamble now. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, Chapter 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Southborough Trails Committee will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Southborough's website, https://www.southboroughtown.com. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch or participate in the meeting may do so in the following manner by finding the meeting at https://www.southboroughtown.com/remote meetings. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on Southborough's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. So I'd like to do a roll call for who is here. When I call your name, please say present. Tom McCoolier.
Present.
Satyendra.
Present.
Satyendra Sharma, sorry.
Present.
Isabel Murphy.
Present.
And Catherine McKee. Great, and thank you. So our first order of business is to approve the minutes from the last meeting, and I wondered why it felt like we just met, and we had on 10:15. So has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes that Sati had drafted and we circulated?
Yes.
Great. Any questions or issues? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of October 15th.
I will second that.
Great, thank you. Let me just get my notes ready. Okay, and then roll call vote. Tom McCoolier,
Yes.
Sati,
Yes.
Isabel Murphy,
Yes.
and Catherine McKee. And remind me again, who seconded that? Was Tom?
Isabel seconded it. Tom proposed it.
Thank you. Okay, great. And then one little order of business that I realized after reviewing the recording from last time, we did not take a roll call vote after we had the motion and the seconding to approve of the September 16th minutes as amended. So we're going to do that now because we're good at that, coming back to things. So if everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes. So if, and we had a motion, actually, Sati, do you happen to have that up? I forget who motioned and seconded. We should probably say that.
Oh, I just.
Oh, for the roll call.
Yeah, it would have been in the 10-15 minutes.
Yes. So, who seconded the motion? No, I don't have that.
Okay, hang on 2 seconds. I got it. I just want to make the record clear. Okay. So on 10-15, I'm so sorry, guys.
No, I got the minutes open from the 10:15 meeting.
You do, then say.
Move to approve the minutes. Isabel moved the motion to approve the minutes as amended. Sati second, motion approved 3-0.
Okay, great. So we just need to do a roll call vote and allow and have the minutes this time reflect that we did a roll call vote for the 9-16-20 minutes. So Tom McCoolier.
Approve.
Satyendra Sharma.
Approved.
Isabel Murphy.
Approve.
And Kat McKee approve. Great. So thank you for noting that, Sati, in the minutes. Did we just did a roll call vote for the other minutes, right? Thank you.
Yes, we did.
That's the kind of day. Okay. So next order of business is the installation of the map kiosk update for Fayetteville Park, and I reached out to Tim Davis. There's no new update at this time. The project is just pending DPW's installation, which I believe is just waiting for the basketball court to come a little bit further along before they get that in. So hopefully it will be before the ground freezes in 2020, which would be my.
Actually, I haven't drove by there. Last time I went by there, they just had piles of the sub gravel or whatever they call it. Is it
A very attractive hole. That's
it's
about.
still? Okay.
I went by this weekend just to see if the kiosk was up, and unless they've done something this Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, I haven't seen it recently. But Sati, you're the neighbor.
Yeah, so you want me to ask somebody there? No.
I was just wondering if you saw any more progress.
No, I didn't see. Yeah, yesterday I saw there's nothing. As Tom is saying, just the gravel.
Yeah. Okay. Well, one day. And then that project will be done. And so next order of business is the Board of Selectmen. Some of you, I think I circulated the letter. So they voted to approve the letter last Tuesday at their meeting, and Mark Purple sent it to sent it to Jim Montgomery, the DCR commissioner, and copied Jamie Carr, the watershed director, last Wednesday. So that went out. And I reached out to the communities of Marlboro, Westboro, Northboro, and the organization Sudbury Valley Trustees and MAPC, and asked them if they would also write letters of support to DCR on our behalf to request moving forward with the public access plan to allow us, that would allow us to help close the gap. And so I've heard back from Marlboro, Northboro, and Westboro, and they all agreed to do that. And I'm just waiting to hear back from Sudbury Valley Trustees and MAPC. And the idea is if all of us in a short period of time, like month or two, all write DCR, then it may help move this up in priorities. So it's just one more step, active step we can take to help move things along. So then related to that, I've spoken to a few people since our last meeting related to opening the trail on that land and what we need to do. So one critical go, no go question that we have to have answered if we are going to be interested in doing a DCR grant, which we're not quite sure we need to yet, but it could be that we, it might be that if we are able to, then we should take advantage of that opportunity as we've thought about in the past. We just need to figure out what the grant will be for, how it will it fund part of this project, all of this project, or another project. So we need to discuss that. But before we can even submit a grant, I contacted Amanda Lewis, who is the Mass Trails Program Manager, and I asked her this question: can an organization or committee submit a grant proposal for a proposed trail on land that doesn't have a public access plan, right? That's our critical question. So she said that she doesn't know the answer to that, but she does know that for any trail that's proposed on DCR land, you have to have what's called an approved trails proposal. So this is somewhat new. They've taken a few years, it sounded like, to get this proposal form ready, and now it is ready. So we have reached out to Jamie Carr, the watershed director, to ask him if he could help find the people who can answer that question for us. We may be a little ahead of the game if we do need that approval process, and we need the public access plan. So we need to wait to hear from him before we can decide what we're going to do with the grant, if we're going to do the grant at all. And also with the public, with the CPA funding, there is a question about whether we can move forward with that without a public access plan, but we have letters of support. So that will also be a question that we have to have answered in the next few weeks. So I just want to prepare the committee just in case all of this effort that we're doing this year may get punted till next year if the public access plan has to be executed before any of this can happen. So it's just something for us to keep in mind, but it's not all for naught, because all of this legwork will just be used, we'll be really ready next year. So that's kind of a good thing.
Mm.
So I'm not gonna be too concerned. If it would be great if we can move forward this year, ideally, but if for some reason we have to wait, we do. Any questions?
So when did they say they're gonna get back for the right to use or guidance around that? When did they get back to you?
Who, Jamie? You mean?
Or the person for the Mass Trails or Jamie.
So the Mass Trails, Amanda doesn't know the answer to the question, but
Okay.
she's asked this committee to reach out to Jamie. He's our
Okay.
contact at DCR to find out who we need to talk to in DCR to get that question answered.
And then, I'm sorry, the puppy was in here and I had to get rid of him. And then have you reached out to Jamie to ask, or is that still to be?
Yes, I reached out to Jamie after my conversation with Amanda. So it was on Friday morning. I reached
Okay.
out to Jamie, or maybe it was Thursday. There's a blur.
Mm.
I reached out, and so I followed up with Jamie again today on two points. One is, hey, did you have any updates for us regarding the trail proposal and the public access plan? And second, to let them know that we're going to be on the property tomorrow with MWA for the fencing quotes. So it was
Right.
old communication. So I've not
Okay.
heard back from him yet. So that is an update.
Okay.
And then next, let's see. So yeah, so that's a big question mark of how we move forward. I also, so regarding the CPA application itself, thank you, Tom, and thank you, Isabel, for all of your help coordinating the sign vendors, Isabel, and the fence vendors, Tom. So we have 2 fence appointments tomorrow for site visits. With one is Mohawk Fence Company out of Shrewsbury, and that's a woman-owned business that you got from the Supplier Diversity Program list.
Yeah.
Was any fence from that list too, or was that just another fencing
No,
company?
that was from that list, and that's the only one that got back to me. I called 4 from that list. She was the only one that got back to me. And then I did local ones, the one in Holliston, and I forgot what the other one's from. Those are the 2.
Great. Thank you. So any fence company and Mohawk Fence Company are
Yep.
the 2 site visits for tomorrow. And then for signs, so we got back, Isabel reached out to TerraBuilt and to Baldwin Design Works, and we got those quotes back. And so both of those quotes, TerraBuilt is from New York, based out of New York, and Baldwin Design Works is based out of Georgia. Both of them came in around the same price, 12,000, 13, a low 12,000 for the signage. And that's actually more than Fossil Industries, who came in at 7,500. But remember, that's 2020 prices, and they need to escalate for 2021 if that's when the project will happen. And one vendor we spoke with, Baldwin Design, said you might want to even, like, I was using a 5 or 10% escalator for the year to year. He's like, yeah, you might want to even think about 20 to 30% escalator. So we'll have to figure out what number we need to use for that. So that was really helpful. It's good that we have this backup documentation before we go to CPC and present and talk about the application. And then, so yeah, and I heard from Philip, the Springer Signcraft, regarding the installation. He estimates, and this was consistent with he did a town forest sign quote for me back in 2017, 2018, and installation for it's a 4x, what was it, a 3x4 sign, a pretty big sign on Woodland Road. And it, that installation was pretty expensive. So I ended up getting DPW to do that. So we saved some money, but he's estimating $400 to $500 per sign for installation, and that's 3 man hours, 3 men 3-man crew to dig and sink the posts in with concrete, is what he said. So that's roughly $3,600 if I just did that straight across all of the signs. Maybe some are less, some are more. That was an estimate. Regarding this, I'd like to get another quote, obviously, for the installation. So this was kind of a weird question. I don't know if I brought it up last time or not, but I reached out to DPW and I said, well, does DPW count as a vendor? If we have funds from CPA or funds from a grant, can we hire DPW like a vendor and pay for them to do the installation? Because we know them, obviously, and they have the town's best interest. And so
Sam is actually on the panelist. Sam, I don't know if you heard that question, but I do not know what the.
Yeah. I don't either. So I reached out to Karen and said, I don't even know if this is possible, if it's the worst idea ever, but here you go. And if you can't, perhaps there's a conflict of interest. I could see that being a possible issue. If you can't, do you have a couple of vendor recommendations? They must deal with installations all the time. So I just asked for a recommendation of 1 or 2 so that we could get some more quotes. So
Actually, I don't know. I'll ask Mark. Is from Sam.
Okay, thanks, Sam. Or I could reach out to Mark too. Well, I'll let Karen respond.
Yeah, let Karen figure it out, and then we'll see what. It seems to me it would be almost robbing Peter to pay Paul, since it's all still town taxpayer money. But I kind of I agree with the concept. Why give it to an outside vendor when we can actually have our own department sourced as a vendor?
Right. And DPW has been very helpful with us installing kiosks and various signs on a one-off basis, but this is a big job. So we would want to make sure, that's why I asked about the funding for them, because it's not like they can just put it in their budget with budget issues.
Right.
The towns.
I agree.
So I thought
See what comes back. If it's a precedent, then I'd rather use DPW.
Yeah. And we know them, and they know the town and trust it.
Right.
Yep. So that's that. And then lastly, I spoke with conservation agent Melissa Danza, and to talk to her about the abutter notification process and outreach, and to confirm that process, and then also what kind of permitting we might need from conservation. And so I think I get this right, so we will either need an RDA or notice of intent. If an RDA, that's an easier application process, is if the trail or the activity is more than 50 feet from the wetlands. If it's within that 50-foot buffer, then we need a notice of intent, and that's a longer, more complicated process, but at least we'll know which one we want. So to determine that wetland buffer, she directed me to the Mass GIS system, which isn't perfect, but I was poking around in there. I might need a little bit of assistance to understand what exact overlay. I looked for wetlands overlay, but I didn't see it. They had some other watershed overlay and things like that. So I'll poke around and see, fingers crossed that we're outside of that 50-foot. And so it just depends.
Yeah, it all depends where we actually do the digging and all that stuff. It could be out of it, but did you ask us, since this is not town-owned land, do you actually still go through the notice of intent to the Southborough Conservation Commission?
The Conservation Commission would be, so even though, even with the footbridge, for example, off of the athletic fields, conservation was involved with that process, even though it's DCR land.
Okay.
So it's because I want to say it's because it's the local governing body that would ensure that any committees or departments or commissions that are working on this land, that they would make sure that if it's within Southborough.
Usually it is 200 feet from the.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, I thought it was like 200 or 100 or 200 feet.
200 feet.
Yeah, we talked about 50 feet, and I don't know. I can get a little bit more information just to make sure, but I wrote that down. So, but it is.
We have to signify it on a map of exactly where it's going to be installed to do the notice of intent.
Right, and so that would mean, us finalizing our sign installation, like where exactly that's going to be versus roughly, and the fence project is clear. So we might be able to do some survey of that tomorrow, Tom.
Okay.
Okay, so that's that, and so I think we're moving at a nice clip for getting the additional information. And again, thank you, everyone. One quick follow-up, Sati, I was just checking in to see if you may not have had an opportunity to check in on any ADA information. I had reached out to Sati to ask if he could help us reach out to maybe Mass Audubon or another organization that works with ADA compliant trails to see if there's a way we can overcome the slope challenge that we have at both ends of that trail. And if there is a way to overcome that, then, that would obviously be beneficial to the trail if it could be ADA compliant. So had you had an opportunity to poke around, Sati?
Yeah, I looked at some, but I'll keep on. I mean, by tomorrow, I'll have some answer.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
reach
fine.
out to them. Yeah.
Thank you for just moving forward. And, there may not be a good answer, but, it's worth an exploration of to see if there's something we can do there. You're on mute, Isabel, if you're saying all the important stuff that I know you're saying.
Do we have an ADA town representative?
We do. We have an ADA committee. Bill Sines is the chair of that committee, and I met with them a couple of years ago, it was a little while ago. I met with them to talk about this, and I think so we would want to involve them, but I don't know that they're not the resource for ADA trails, right? So they're definitely a resource, and we can work with them. But I think we need to reach out to organizations who have built trails, ADA compliant trails, and overcome specific challenges. So they were very interested in working with us as much as we needed. So we had done that a while back. But yeah, so thanks for bringing that. That's a good question.
Why don't we actually lean a little bit heavier on Bill and his committee to actually work hand in hand with this. We're no experts on ADA, and we shouldn't get into it. I think we got to lead, I think we should actually do a 50-50 involvement with them for any trails. I don't know if you want to approach them or talk to them about that, but we can spin our wheels and learn about it, but they're already the experts. Let's just tap into that.
So I like that. I like looping them in a big way, but if you haven't built an ADA trail and you haven't done that, then you aren't necessarily the person that we can go to, right? So what I'm thinking is and it's going to be important for us to learn if we can connect with, an organization like Mass Audubon, who has many state parks, or even DCR might have an ADA department in their trails, that would just kind of even say yay or nay. So I think let's approach it in a hybrid way, to your point. Let's loop the committee in, let's ask them for some support. But I don't think, does that make sense?
Yep, I just would substitute the word support for involvement.
Okay.
I just want, we got enough stuff going on, and I'd rather, have them give us a helping hand. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, we have to make sure it fits within their priorities, goals, and objectives.
Yes, exactly.
So maybe Sati, if you wanted to, the ADA committee is listed on the boards and committees website, the town website. Bill Sines is his contact information's there if you wanted to reach out and let them know what we're doing. And you and I, we can talk offline if we need to scope it out more specifically so that it's clear what we're trying to do. I'm happy to work with you on that. So thank you, Tom and Isabel, on that. So I think that's all we have there. I haven't heard from CPC yet about next steps. So we'll just continue on collecting our information. And I thought it might be useful if we, in anticipation of a meeting, when you talk trails, pictures it seems to be the easiest way to kind of communicate that thing. So maybe in a fun way, I'll put together like a video walkthrough of what we're looking for trails. So we can same way we did with the grant for the Choate grant, we superimposed signs on the kiosks so they could get an idea of what it would look like. So we can have a sample kiosk and superimpose it on the location of where we're talking about and kind of walk them through what the trail would visually look like. That might help with our conversation so that they can get a sense of it. So I can start to, that's kind of fun work. So I'll pull that together and have that ready for our next meeting and stuff. So anything else from you guys on that topic? Okay, I'm going to share screens, but I always struggle with this. So today I'm going to try not to struggle with this. Let's see. Okay, so the next topic is our trails maintenance. So we've had to punt this lots of times, but okay. So I hope this time you guys can see my screen.
Yes.
An Excel spreadsheet. Okay. So I don't know why this is like, it's really weird. Hang on, I'm just trying to, there it is. Okay. So what we have here is just I started to draft the maintenance schedule based on everything that we've learned in the last few years about what it requires to take care of the trails. So I'm going to kind of step us through this. This is in draft form, and we'll build it out over the next couple meetings, and then we can put it on our website under the trails resources. I think it will help in a number of ways. So this first tab is the actual task. And you guys might remember the volunteer Adopt a Trail program. We had divided out the sections. We mapped out the sections. We call them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the volunteer adopt. So I used that as a starting point for, I think it's easier to identify an area by a section number versus, you know, between East Main and Route 30 or Parkerville and 85. And so if we could just start to use our reference numbers, then that might just be a helpful way of referring to them. And then I added other sections that so the Adopt a Trail was really focused on the Sudbury Reservoir Trail kind of as a pilot program to see if it would work. So that means that other sections of the trail, other trails in town and sections have not been labeled. So I took a stab at doing an ABC labeling because in an ideal world, if we had started labeling everything just like the mile markers, Tom, we would have, you know, started at the east or the west side and gone all the way through. So it was in sequence, but that's in a different world. So I went ahead and assigned sections here, A, B, C, and D, just to keep it clear and separate. So the maintenance schedule. So mowing, for example, not all sections require mowing. So here, this is the section number and then the attempt to describe the sections and then the responsible party and the frequency. And then what this calendar is supposed to represent is the months that, for example, if they're supposed to do it 2 times a year, we don't know what those 2 times look like. So that's going to be between May and September. So that's the best guess that we can have. The MWRA will be mowing those. For the other ones, J&J Landscaping, we know they do it 3 to 4 times a year. We learned this year they start in June and they go through September. So again, in the future years, we'll be working and reaching out to DPW to get an exact timing of when they're coming. It won't be perfect because communication will need to happen with 3 parties, but we'll see how we can keep people more updated on that.
Pat, can I ask a question? So
Please.
is this what we hope is going to happen or what should be happening?
That's what should be happening.
Okay, because in the reality is J&J will come through twice. I'm looking at section 1, maybe twice in a year. They certainly don't come through every month.
No, but when I spoke to them in July, I think it was, they said they are scheduled 3 to 4 times a year.
Okay.
So they may have only come. So this year they didn't come in June. We learned, remember, they were delayed because the DCR, the locked gates, the new gates. So they started in July. So they may have only hit it twice this year, right? So that's why we want to kind of chat a little bit more closely with DPW just to see how many times they're coming. Because does that answer your question?
It does. And being the cheap taxpayer that I am, are we paying per session?
I think so, but I'm not sure how the contract's worded.
Okay.
But not that I'm going to go the opposite of Isabel. Should we just say we want it done from J&J Landscaping 4 times a year? I mean, instead of 3 to 4, why don't we just say we would like it, once a month, June, July, August, and September?
You really know how to make friends, Tom.
I know. If we're going to approach Karen, we might as well approach Karen to put it into her budget.
Yep.
What we want instead of 3. I just, because there's a point in the summer, it grows really fast.
I know. And I really feel like starting in May is probably, because things start to grow in April, and May it starts to get a little bit long. So I would really like to see, remember Sati, I think it was you, it was a couple years ago when
Yep.
we did the June 1st or June 2nd, whatever National
It
Trails
was
Day
that,
that was.
yeah.
It was high, and you were thigh high in grass. So starting June 16th is it's behind the season.
Yep.
So that was MWA. We can't really control that, but it's a good point. I think the other trails are used more frequently, so maybe late May. But to your point, I like that, Tom. I think we are at mercy, as we saw this year, of budget issues and concerns. So I think the way we can do is can we approach Karen, since we are in the budget season now? Can we say, hey, Karen, what are the chances of getting a really fixed schedule, say, 4 times during the summer, and can we start on by a certain date and get more involved in that process? And let's see, I'm sure she would be open to working with us. She's been very flexible in the past. So why don't we reach out and try to do that? Does that make sense?
And
Yes.
hold them
does.
accountable. Yeah.
Yeah, because if we put on a schedule, like, I don't know, first of the month, every month, at least it's something that, it's accountable. Like Isabel.
Right. Yeah. And I think, so I think we've not been looped into that process in the past as much as we want to be more involved. And so I gave a heads up about that. This will be a nice segue into the next piece of the conversation is, hey, by the way, can we do that?
No, I hate to be I know you're much better at this than I am, Kat, but can we approach MWRA to do 3 times a year?
I think this is the problem. So they received a grant last year that they're limited by the amount of property they have to maintain and the machinery that they have. So they received a grant to get a second mower that was going to allow them to increase from 1 time a year, to 2 times a year. So sure, can we ask? Absolutely. But we have to understand that, we're at the mercy of what they can do for availability and stuff. But I think, to your point, Tom, that trail is, it really needs, of all the trails, it's the open channel from Ward Road to that section really needs more attention than it's been getting. I think the other ones are more frequently used and naturally kind of the people walking or help.
Yeah, 5 and 6 can get pretty long.
Yeah.
I used to do that a lot more.
Okay.
Deerfoot to Lynbrook.
Yep.
To Northborough Road. They can get pretty long at certain times. In the spring, they're perfectly fine.
Okay.
I'm just throwing, if we're gonna put like a mowing schedule to ask, they can always say no, but we can always ask.
Yeah. Okay.
What do they say? You miss 100% of the shots you don't make?
Yeah. So we'll ask for 3 times a year and go from there. Yeah.
There's another trees down on Partridge Hill.
Yeah.
That place is a bomb. The good news is there aren't that many trees left to take down. They're almost
There is a big tree
Where is this coming from? Did someone
Just-
chat something?
I did, Isabel,
Yep.
yeah, yeah, there are two down now. You can climb over both of them, but
Yeah.
especially on Sunday, it was killing me because there are all of these people on the trails and climbing over it, and we need a chainsaw to get rid of both of them.
Yeah, I saw those. I took some pictures of them. And I think that might have been Isabel. Remember when I reached out about the bees and the trees down? The person who submitted that complaint, I think, was referring to Partridge Hill, and not Lattisquama.
Oh,
It's nearish, but not quite there, right? So the other thing to note about that is there is, and this is beyond our scope, so we might have to ask DPW for help in this one. There is a dead tree, you may have noticed, that's leaning on another tree that you have to walk under, right? But the problem, it's a very tricky situation because this tree that's leaning is dead. And I feel like it could come down at an inopportune time if it gives way, because it's rotted and it's not as strong now, so I think we need to reach out and see if DPW were able to do some tree work, if they would perhaps add that to their list. You can walk under it now. I'm just a little concerned about the liability of that tree just being an issue, and maybe DPW could just go look at it and say, oh yeah, that's not going anywhere, you're fine, or not. But I did ask my my handy chainsaw contact if he would help us, and he said he would. So we can get that cleared up in a couple weeks before it starts to snow, which
Yeah, so
thank you.
let me know if you need help on, I mean, don't let me know, but I'll help with that.
Thank you. Yeah, they're both, I think, pretty dead, right, Isabel? So they're probably going to be really easy to. Oh, and by the way, I was so excited twice this weekend when I was out taking pictures and just surveying some of the trails. I saw 2 different people at 2 different kiosks studying the maps.
I have seen a lot of people on Route 85 looking at that map.
I love it. It's so, I'm just really glad to see that they're being used.
Mm.
There, talking about the trees, there is, I don't know whether you noticed the whether you have gone recently, the BLT part near Nicholson Finance, that crossing where you go. There's a huge tree lying across the trail.
Oh,
Huge.
is this heading to Parmenter, that straight path?
Right. Yep.
Going straight after the gate?
Yes.
Oh, I did not know that. Thank you. And
I can send you the picture.
you did. Thank you. And actually, to your point, so the good news is for that section of trail, DCR is really handy because they have to drive that section, and they generally clean that up. And that's just a gift. I'll call it a gift. So what I'll do, Sati, is I'll reach out to DCR and let them know that that's out there. Is it really wide? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I don't necessarily.
It is just blocking the. You have to go over it.
Okay.
I mean, just.
Gotcha.
Blocking. Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, I did do a quick survey of some of the other trails. I didn't see any main issues anywhere.
That has become our favorite walking trail now.
It is a very nice trail. I like that trail a lot.
Yeah, it's really nice. So, okay. So the other thing is, so what I tried to do here in column A was just identify the general tasks that need to happen, like clearing and widening trail. Isabel, that's the, for example, that section near Lattisquama that we've talked about needing to widen. So these are the trail sections that would apply. Trimming and cutting branches, obviously that's not every trail. That's not going to be needed, but on some of them it will be. And when I say who's responsible and it's the committee, that just means that it will either be us as a work party, or we schedule a volunteer work party with the residents, community members, or Boy Scout, Girl Scouts. So that's kind of what I was thinking there. So blowdowns, fallen trees, same thing. PRN, I think those in the medical field, not me, it just means as needed. So it's not really a scheduled time. It's just whenever that happens. So I will look at kind of filling in some of this. Poison ivy warnings. I know poison ivy is everywhere, but I think it's important. Like if you can say, like Partridge Hill, if you're not careful walking through that trail off of Partridge Hill and that poison ivy gets grown up, that's kind of a hot spot. So just good things to note along the trail.
Want to add the backside of the 9/11 loop too, not the road side, but when you go around.
Yeah.
Where the top part there has poison ivy galore.
Yeah. So actually, so we can, if you want, in 2021, really focus on this. So right now we don't have this section of trail is not included in our public access plan. But one of the things, and I'm glad you brought that up, one of the things that our public access plan, our current one with DCR, is up for renewal next year. So part of the BOS, the Board of Selectmen letter to DCR was, hey, by the way, we need to extend that plan. So I wanted to, and I'd spoken with John Scannell before Jamie Carr took over last year about adding 9/11 to, and he seemed open to that. So then we can really focus on getting this trail, making sure it's clean, clear, and has clear navigation. Because I remember I'd shared once I almost got lost in here. It was too close. Yeah. It was too close to night to be out, but I was still like, I got a little lost in there. I mean, I would have eventually found
the North Pine. The North Pine gets tricky because I used to go there a lot. Yeah. Coming from right behind the monument and stuff, it's a beautiful road and it has this little island at the end.
Yes, it's gorgeous back there. It's beautiful. Yes. And I found out about this from a woman during Heritage Day. It must have been 2018. I had no idea. She's like, did you know? I was like, no, I learned about a trail from a resident. Who knew?
Can we do something? Can we just put something on the docket? I don't know the Marlboro involvement of that section, north of that. Do they actually have trails that we can connect that section E to? I mean,
is that Acre Bridge Road?
Acre Bridge Road and stuff. If you want, I can do the task to reach out to Marlboro's Trails Committee to see how we can somehow connect some things up in the north part there.
Yes. So actually, Marlboro, they're putting together a Trails Committee. I don't know if they exactly have one yet. But I can put you in touch with the two people. I can send you the contact information of the two people who to ask.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't mind being the liaison to talk to the Marlboro people.
Great, that's all you then. I found a new section of trail that we have not been maintaining. That's part of the Sudbury Reservoir Trail. Does anyone want to take a guess of where that section is? And I only looked at it when I was looking at the Master Services Agreement, or whatever we're calling the Memorandum of Understanding with DCR. And that's when I found it, when I looked at the map closer. And I guess it's slightly embarrassing that we didn't know this ahead of time.
Railway track?
Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, the Sudbury Reservoir Trail is not a long trail.
After East Main Street?
Well, it doesn't do, it stops, doesn't it?
No, it is actually, I think, so I remember bringing this up once before. So hang on, let me look at my email. I want you guys to see the map real quick. Oh my goodness.
Actually, I have a couple of, I got the Burroughs Loop Trails maps up if you need that.
No, this is a special map.
Special
map. This map was in the agreement. Oh, come on.
Is that like secret double probation? Did anybody name that movie?
Oh, Animal House.
Correct.
Nice. So are you guys seeing a document I'm scrolling through right now?
No, you still got your map. You got to unshare and share that one. Yeah. Another way you could do is always share that screen.
Wait,
so if you have
screens, does that allow that here? Because I think share screen. All right, let's try that.
You have to select the one that you want to share. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I got it. I can see it now. Kate, sorry.
I'm going to wear a name tag for you, Tom.
I know. I do apologize.
Okay.
Don't tell me you have to go sideways on this one.
Yeah,
Ah,
you can
I-
rotate it.
I can, but I can't on this one because, oh, rotate.
We have a special guest coming in.
We
Come
do?
Hi there.
Hello, is that Winston?
Oh,
So
oh, who's that?
he wants to get away from the puppy.
Oh. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, just I've got a time issue. I got to log off at 7:30.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't see it. This is sad. Hold on. It was, why is this not here? It was off of Middle Road. So it was between, I really don't like this.
Really?
Yes.
Here.
It's between, is it Middle Road and Route 85? Have you guys ever seen, where the,
It's the
receptacle-
cemetery.
No, Middle Road. So,
Oh, yeah, by where we put the kiosk. The sign, yep.
where we put, right, exactly.
Yep.
So hang on. So here we go.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm so 85 to Middle. As Tom said, that would be going along the cemetery, along the
Right.
water.
The backside of the cemetery.
Right.
Yeah, that is known.
Let me try one more thing. Are you seeing my screen now?
You got
Google.
Google.
Google, yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Oops. I should have just typed in Southborough. All right. Let's see. Okay. Here we go.
You can just close out the Southborough stuff on the left with the arrow. Yeah. No,
Did that not? That didn't work.
no, it was this. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, Middle Road. I see you. Yeah, that's cemetery right there.
Wait. No. So let's see. This is the cemetery. Okay. It's okay. It's right here. 85. So see where my hand is?
Where your
This-
arrow is?
My arrow, yep. There's a trail from here to here, right?
You're kidding.
No.
There's a trail. Whose trail?
So I tried to walk it once a long time ago, but there's a lot of fallen trees, too many to even worry about. But a lot of fishermen will go back there, so I think it's kind of worn in. But I failed at showing you the map that I had found. But I swear I just found it on the agreement. Maybe it was the 2002.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, but that doesn't match up with the rest of our trail.
It was the 2002 agreement, and it got lost on the 2016 agreement. So that's what it is. The 20. Yep. Okay. So I pulled up the wrong one. I'm not going to take the time to do it now. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to pull that old map. We'll talk about it next meeting, and to see if that's something that we can revive. It isn't one. It is not a trail that's going to loop around. It'll just be like you can walk down here and back. So it's
We're
not.
under obligation to maintain it. Then we're under obligation to maintain it, I guess.
Well, it's not on the 2016 map, right? But it was on the 2002 map. So it was somehow maybe missed in the 2016. But if we're going to renew our agreement in 2016 and we want to acquire it, because it's just one more little area we can call that we would like to walk, then we might want to do that.
Okay.
So I will bring that up.
I think we have a road trip in our future.
Yes. So anyway, so I want to quickly get to the mile markers you talked about. So I think with the maintenance plan, there's one other thing I just want to bring up quickly. I'm so glad you showed me that trick. So you're still seeing my screen. I was just pulling up
Yep.
and stuff.
Yep.
Okay, that's the trick. Okay, so here, we talked a little bit about snow removal. So in the wintertime, when there's snow, there's nowhere to park in Southborough for trails, nowhere, none, right? And because all the road snow gets blown up and where we usually park off the side of the road. So we briefly talked about, and I think it's the time is the season is now to reach out to see if we could get 2 to 3 locations plowed either by entities that do this for their own properties that are near these, or ask for volunteers if the property owners will allow us to do that. So the one location is Route 30 in Northborough, where we put the kiosk. That has the right next to Chestnut Hill Farm. So I thought we could ask the trustees that if they're going to be maintaining their property and they're going to plow their own parking lot, would they mind just swinging around and doing a couple of plows, a couple spots, whatever it would take, and see if they would. We might get a no. If we get a no, then our question is, can we ask for residents, volunteers in the community who might be willing, that have a plow, to just go by and plow it when we have snows, just to give a little bit more space for people to park for snow activities. Same thing at Route 85 in the cemetery. I thought we might ask DPW. They're already plowing the cemetery. Just come over and push, push, push. So that's one question. Then the other question is the Parkerville, the spots at the athletic fields on the side of the road. I don't know if those get plowed. Does anyone remember?
I think they do part of the town because that's a town road.
Okay, so I was just going to make sure if those spots could get plowed. That's a nice little central location for a few trails if people wanted to snowshoe or something like that. But so those are some asks that I'd be reaching out for in the next couple weeks, see if we could get those conversations going. And so Tom and Isabel, you guys had some movement on the mile markers.
Yes, so I want to discuss this before I tell you what my opinions are. So if you want to allow me to share my screen, I'm going to bring up some maps.
Oh, please. Show us how it's done. Right.
Show us how it's done, right? I don't know about that. Make me the commander. I'm still disabled.
Oh, do I have to do something to you?
Yeah,
Yes.
go down to security,
Make him the
where it says security.
co-host. Make him the co-host.
Make me the boss.
You should be all set to share now. I did it all
Alright.
panelists.
Oh, thank you, because I don't think I have that right. I have.
All right, so hopefully you can see our beautiful Southborough trails.
Yep.
So we were talking about putting mile markers for trails, so when people walk along the trails, they know how far they've been going. Especially we don't have any real loops per se. We have a lot of out and back. So what's nice about the out and back, well, what's not nice about the out and back is like you don't know how far you went out because you're going to turn around and come back. So that's why the mile markers will be good. Say you want to do a 4-mile mark, you go out 2 and you come back 2. So as you can see, we have one big major loop. I'm going to call this one the Burrows Loop Trail, and I'll tell you why. But it pretty much follows, the Aqueduct Trail going across here. And again, I know this is other trails too, but it circles and it goes right through the town of South.
Yep, and it is all Burrows Loop.
So
But one question, Tom.
Yep.
So why do you think we need mile markers? We do. The smartwatch will have your mile markers, right? How much you have walked. That's all you want to know, right?
Yes. And a little bit of advertisement, a little bit of community pride.
Oh, that is.
But so right here is the complete Burrows Loop. And right about here is where we get into Southborough. And right over here by Walnut Hill is where we leave Southborough. So, and again, I haven't made up my mind on this, and I would like a little bit of discussion, debate, or, thought about this is, I would like to send a letter to all the loop communities saying, hey, everybody, we would like to put in a mile marker when the Burrows Loop Trails enters Southborough, in this case, right where my cursor is, if you guys can see it. Can you see it?
Yes.
Saying right there, and the reason why I want to notify all the different Burrows Loop towns is let's be a little bit common of what we're doing. So there'll be a mile marker here, maybe a little stake in the ground that says Southborough 0. Southborough mile marker 0 of the Burrows Loop Trail. And then we do, and I'm open to the debate, quarter miles, half miles. We mark it all along here until we leave Southborough, right around here. And we have another marker right there that says mile marker 10 of the Southborough Loop Trail or the Southborough Trail, or whatever we're going to name it. And then on this case, I think it's Westboro would pick it up and says on the other side of that marker would be Westboro mile marker 0 of the Burroughs Loop Trail. I'm going in a clockwise motion. So everybody's 0 starts on the clockwise. So Westboro's clock would start here. And then Northborough's 0 would start there. And then Marlborough's, et cetera, et cetera. That was my thoughts about this, because this is the loop that kind of like goes right through towns. I'm not saying this is our exclusive loop, but this would be our first attempt to put distance markers. So in this case, right around here is Nichols, where that P is, Nichols and Claremont. So when you start walking the trail, eventually you're going to get a half mile or a mile marker, and then you'll kind of like know how far you are. And that might be like a turnaround point to come back. And the same thing going the other way. Or if you park up here, there's a road right there where we're parking in Marlboro. You can see, okay, now I'm in Southborough. That's good informational. Hey, you know what? I didn't know I was in Southborough. I didn't know I was in that town, and do the same thing. And the reason why I want to contact the other towns is I think all of us, the boroughs, should do that, an entering and an exiting, an entering and an exiting wherever the problem.
So you would like to have a entering Southborough, this kind of a sign with marker?
Yep, and our mile marker would start, in this case, exactly what you said, is right here would be our mile marker 0, entering Southborough, the Burroughs Loop Trail. And maybe I'm making this more specific to the Burroughs Loop Trail, but I mean, this is one cool thing about the boroughs, is we have a loop trail. And so I'm not saying it's going to be the exclusive thing on that pole, because as you know, the Bay Circuit Trail goes here, and it kind of like goes into Ashland.
Yep.
Maybe in the future, we want to then put something else on that stuff, is mile marker 0 of the Bay Circuit Trail in Southborough going this way. And that's a bigger community.
Yep.
That goes all the way up to the North Shore, all the way to the South Shore. I just don't want to boil the ocean saying, hey, boroughs, towns. But some markers when we know we're going into different people's towns.
Yep.
And it also gives people, I love this along the Sudbury River, where the I don't know who did it, put those mile markers. I like that I know how far I went. And I just want to incorporate it for the Burroughs Loop in Southborough. And if the other two towns would like to join in, every time we leave a town, we know. Every time we enter a town, we know. And not that I'm saying I'm going to do the whole 33 miles, but it's kind of cool to know, hey, I'm in Westboro. Hey, I'm in Southborough.
Yeah, no, I love that idea, Tom. I like that you would communicate with, it would be the same people I'm going to connect you with from Marlboro to connect with on that other topic that you would want to talk to about that. And Priscilla Ryder is the conservation agent or commissioner, or however they describe the titles are different per town, but she's the one in Marlboro that headed up the initiative. So she's gonna, you'd want to connect with her on that to make sure all the communities were in the same on the same page. But I like that idea, and I would recommend either mile markers every mile. I just want to be careful about clutter or sign clutter. So if you do a quarter mile, that's a lot of signage, every half mile maybe, or a mile, it depends. But I think that's great. And I also think, sorry, Isabel, is that it will help navigate, like Isabel, something she and I learned about was the GPS. Remember the markers? If there's a health emergency, you can always say, I'm near mile marker XX, and it would help emergency officials find you on the trail. So sorry.
Yeah, that is I never even thought about that. But yeah, where are you? I don't know. I'm on the Burroughs Loop Trail. Are you at Marlboro or Southborough? At least now you know.
Yeah, good point.
That's good. That's a added benefit, definitely.
And, no, I think it has to be at least every half mile. Yeah.
What is it normally on a bike trail?
Oh, good question.
I don't know.
Hey, Mark.
Half mile. Well, no, I shouldn't say that.
I would.
I don't know.
No, I agree with you, Kat, about not wanting to do trail pollution. But I think if you're going an entire mile for a lot of people who are hiking, that's a bit. I think it has to be at least half mile.
So then maybe we could have smaller markers, something just to like, they're there. They don't have to stand out and be all obnoxious and stuff. So I like it. Thank you, Tom. So yeah, I'll send you the contact information if you want to connect with them. I think that's
Do you want me to contact all the boroughs, appropriate people about this idea?
Yeah, let's start with Melissa and I mean Priscilla, and I'll give you all the contacts for all the towns that have been the primary contacts. If you want to start with Priscilla, make sure she's cool with the idea, and then you can have at it.
Now, I don't know Priscilla. What's Priscilla? Who's
Priscilla Ryder, the one I was just describing, who headed up the Bros Loop initiative.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. So she was the spearhead for the whole boroughs thing.
She the
Okay.
EDC wrote the grant. She managed the grant for Marlboro. It's the largest section of BLT, so she was leading the initiative for that.
Oh yeah,
She's a
definitely,
conservation
definitely.
agent for Marlboro, or like I said, I'm not sure what their titles are, how that works, but yeah, thank you very much.
I've got people waiting for me. I got to log off.
Okay, bye, Isabel. Thank you
later.
for everything.
Words.
Yeah.
And like I said, when I looked at the Bay Circuit Trail, that's just so big. And like I said, I know part of it comes in here, and then it leaves to go into Ashland and stuff like that, Oak Street and stuff.
Tom, one more question. So if you said that, and when the trail enters the town, you start with 0. So it leaves the town and the other town starts. So they also start with 0 there, or
Yes,
continue?
yes.
Okay.
In a clockwise motion. So everybody on the, and I'm looking at from north, south, east, and west is my clock, just like I have it on the screen.
Yep.
Northborough is the north town, so that'll be 12 o'clock. We're more like 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, back to 12. And our zeros will always start going clockwise.
So within the mile markers, we can have two things. One is like, within the town, and then the total mileage that
I like
we have
that.
traveled.
That's exactly, I was just thinking that too, Sati. I think that makes sense. Is like you have the mile, like SB for Southborough is that Southborough mile marker, and then you have BLT for the whole mile,
Yeah.
marker, right? Yeah.
Yeah, your BLT, yeah. Again, the only thing about this loop, and maybe when I talk to Priscilla, is where is start?
Yeah.
There's no start, there's no beginning, and there's no end in a circle. Hence,
We start from our town.
talking about King Arthur and the Round Table, there's no beginning, there's no end. But I don't know if Priscilla has some consumption. If she has a start, I would start that as, if there is a start, a 0, say it is in Marlboro, I would use that as a 0. And then again, when we still come into Southborough, if we want to do the marker of the whole trail, 0 to 33 miles, I'm good with that too. Okay, we're entering Southborough. We're on the Borough Loop Trail, say 8 of 33 or whatever it is, 12 out of 33. We enter, we exit at mile marker, I don't know, I'm making this up, 25 out of 33.
Yeah.
And at least you know that you're part of the whole trail. I just like to connect the community and selfishly in just Southborough. How far, because the first time I parked at Clements and Nichols, I walked this far, but I didn't know how far I went.
Yeah, it's about 2.25
Yeah.
miles ish up to the Parmenter Road.
And and I'm going to bring up another map. They do have it. They do have these stars things that segmented. And
Yeah.
that's what you just mentioned. It's
Mhm.
2.89 miles all the way down to here, but we were at the parking at 4.
Okay. Good.
As you can see, if this is the case, we're going to have one right here. And we're only talking about maybe 3 markers, or maybe 4 markers total
Yeah.
in this section.
Yeah.
Um,
Good.
I have this. I don't know if we have a contact for these people that did this map, but here,
Yep.
take a look at this.
The Sudbury Valley trustee, Dan Stimson.
Yeah, so again, I have a dog, and pink is bad for me. No dogs, no bikes, except for in the Bales Preserve, then that's perfectly fine.
People still do walk the
Right here?
Yeah,
All right. Pay attention to right here.
Yep.
Then I go into segment 3. Oh, segment 4, sorry. Segment 4. I'm over, actually, let's make this. I'm at the Bales Preserve.
Yep.
What's yellow? No bikes. Hey, you know what? My dog is allowed all the way up to here.
Right. So Dan recently updated maps. And so it might just be that this one's on the queue to be done. So I've worked.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, we don't want it done. The map is a map.
No. It's a requirement. DCR has asked us. I worked with DCR to get the maps updated, and Dan was nice enough to be responsive. But if this one's still showing, it might just be that it didn't get saved or updated.
No, I know. It's just wishful thinking.
So thank you.
Um,
What section is this? What map section again?
This is section 4.
Okay. So I'll reach out and make sure that gets updated. Thank you very much for that. So, and thank you for your thinking on the mile marker project. I will send you, probably not tonight, but the next day, I'll send you some information on the contacts.
Yeah, and if you want, like I said, I'll reach them, get their feedback about this idea, if you guys all approve of it. And if there is a stat 0, great. If there's not, I would just propose every town says Southborough, Bay, Burrows Loop Trail, Southborough, entering Southborough, mile marker 0, and do clockwise.
Cool. Very good. So anything else? I've got the photo contest. Well, I guess on the agenda looking at this, no updates from Central Mass Regional Planning Commission. The website updates. So I mentioned the maintenance plan going on the resource page. So we'll do that in the next couple meetings once we finalize the maintenance plan. And then update projects page. So really what I would like to do is update the map page to include a link to the Aqueduct Trail. So that's not really outlined as well as it can be. So I think it'd be helpful for people to start to get that information. It's not really a clear map of all the Aqueduct Trails, but there is some reference to it on MWRA's site. So I'll just link to that site. And then we have the photo contest. So I had shared, you guys saw the post on Facebook for people to share their photos.
Oh, we got someone in the chat.
Okay.
Oh, I need to log off. That was Isabel.
Thank you. So everybody voted. Thank you. And I've compiled the votes. So I'm going to go to screen
So
share.
we need a drum roll? Drum roll?
You got it. Okay, so now I'm going to pull up the contest. Okay, and so for everyone watching or listening after, we had 7 entries. And these are the votes. So Tom had voted number 2. We've ranked in order of 1, 2, 3. So 1 is the top choice, 2 is second, and 3 is third. So as you can see, picture B got 2 votes for number 2. And D is the clear winner. It has 3 votes for number 1. So I believe this is Barbara Dyer's picture.
Can we give her credit?
Yes.
Do we have to say we used their photo?
Yes. So
This is on BLT, I guess.
pardon?
This is on the Burrows Loop Trail, right? This one. I have similar picture.
You have a similar picture? Yep. So I'm not sure. It's so the idea was I asked for pictures from the trail, views of Southborough. So thank you, Barbara, and thank you to everyone who submitted photos. That was a lot of fun, and all of these photos are really great. I did note that landscape pictures, I should have next time I'll remember to ask for landscape photos orientation because they are better suited for the Facebook cover page. If you remember those, it's kind of an image that goes across the page. So a portrait orientation would not fit as well, but these are gorgeous pictures and we were very excited to see them. So that was a fun little thing we can do each season to get people involved and get their pictures displayed on the Facebook page. So
Yeah.
thank you. So I'll make an announcement.
So how many people sent you photos?
So I think we had 7 entries.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time we did it and it wasn't a big notice. So maybe if I had done it earlier in the season, it would have, or, when fall colors were popping more or something, but yeah.
Why don't we do it 4 times a year? Put it on the website, winter, spring, summer, or fall.
Yeah, and we can have you singing. So, okay, so thank you. And I'll post that up later and let everyone know that Barbara's picture won. And thank everyone for participating. So that was a little fun. So, and thank you guys for voting. So our next thing is just to do our next meeting. We might have had a record year for number of meetings this year because we've met twice in October and twice in February and every other month since then. So anyway, but thank you.
Doesn't feel a lot to me, just want to say.
Okay, no, I thank everyone for their patience. November, should we meet? Tom, do you happen to have the master plan meeting in your
It's
calendar?
the 18th.
Thank you. Okay, so we don't want to do that night. So do we want to try that week though? I think any earlier seems like we just met again.
What's the business needs in November? What do we have for crunch?
Right. So it's not so much crunch, and it kind of depends on CPC, like when they have their next meeting, that's going to help drive our to-do list. We'll also have fencing quotes by then, so we can talk about the next, like phase 2 of the application or part 2 of the revision of what that's going to look like. So that's really what's driving meeting needs at this point. And if we do get a positive, yes, you can apply, you can submit a trail proposal form without an access plan, and we do want to go for the DCR grant, then we just got really busy.
So I'm going to throw this out there. Then if that's the case, we can't, like Wednesday is the master planning. So it's just a suggestion. There's a couple of to be determined, CPC and like I said, the access. I'm just throwing this out there. If we don't know either one of those things, does it make sense to even have a meeting in November? If we have no action for the CPC grant or we cannot do the other grant.
I'm going to say yes, because we're going to have fencing quotes. So we'll have an opportunity to discuss the application and any changes we want to make to the application. And
Okay.
also move the trails maintenance plan forward, and we can start talking about the 5-year plan, just kind of pulling that together. So not
All right.
And if there's ever a month that we want to skip, I would maybe vote for December. If you guys were open to that. If we're not going to do the grant, then that would be fine. If we're going to do the grant, then we'd probably want to meet in December.
All right, then let's put it in for the 17th, I guess. Or do you want to do it the 11th? I mean, I know it's only 2 weeks from now of November.
I would be open to the 17th or the 19th. What do you think, Sati? I don't want to do it. I don't know if is it Veterans Day the 11th? Is that always?
Oh yeah. The Veterans Day is 11th. I cannot do. That's also my daughter's birthday.
Okay. Sati, what looks good for you? Tuesday the 17th or 19th?
17th or 19th. Let me see.
Tuesday or Thursday?
Yeah, that is fine. Yeah. So Tuesday. Yeah, I'm taking days off. So, but yeah, Monday is my day off. So this Tuesday is fine.
Is there any reason? Yeah, so Tuesday the 17th works best.
Or 19th is also good.
I was just wondering, is there any reason to be after the master plan meeting? We're probably done consulting, right?
Yeah, for the stuff for the trails, yes. I think that's done.
Okay, so let's shoot for Tuesday. Did I make a good enough argument to meet in November? I don't want to meet if we don't need to, but
No. You know what? The worst case is we've been pushing off some items. We can start having some discussion around them. Like you said, the 5-year plan, the maintenance.
Yeah, and a lot of the plan will be just pulling from the open space rec plan and the master plan, those tasks, and just kind of pulling it together and making an action plan for our own selves so that each year we can kind of focus on priorities and goals and objectives and prioritize them.
Right.
So, and I think that may come up in the CPC. I've sat in on a meeting or two of theirs before, and they've asked people in front of them, do you have a 5-year plan type thing? So I'm just preparing for that question. We may not get
What's
that.
the TPC?
CPC,
CPC, oh, sorry.
Community Preservation Commission.
Yes,
Committee.
so worst comes to worst, we gotta do our 5-year plan.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, yeah. So, and it's good for us for direction to have some.
Yep, I agree, agreed.
It's 6:30 on the 17th. I'll let Isabel know and make sure she can join us. And with the caveat that it may change if we had a CPC meeting come up that we need to either meet earlier or later or something, but we'll figure it out. So I think that's it. Anything else for discussion that I haven't brought up? Nope. Okay. Well, thank you both. I will call the meeting at 7:50. Adjourn. Does someone want to make I can't call it. I have to have a motion. So who wants to motion for the adjournment at 7:50?
Oh, yes.
Sati made the motion. I'll second it.
Okay. Okay.
I thought that's what I heard. You were breaking up. You said that you made a motion.
No, I thought that, no, I was requesting you to, but that is fine.
Great. So I will do a roll call vote. Tom McCoolier,
Yes.
Satyendra Sharma,
Yes.
Kat McKee, yes. So motion passes. And just one thing is, Sati, I think they're gonna, if you have time to submit the minutes from both the meetings, I'll put together the 15th package, so it includes the Board of Selectmen letter, I think, and I'll send that PDF to you tonight. If we could do that by the end of the week, because they're not going to be around, they're going to postpone posting
No, I'll send you tonight this one, the one that we have today's.
Oh yeah,
tonight.
no, I'm not so concerned about that, but it's the PDF packages for the last two meetings that we want to
Oh,
send
okay.
to the town.
Oh,
So
okay.
the town is not going to be posting minutes Monday,
Oh,
and
okay.
Tuesday. So I thought we could get it in before they.
No,
Yeah,
not
before the election.
tomorrow I'm getting.
Thank you so much, guys. Have
Hey,
a great.
Kat, before you leave, so just to make sure, I told the fence vendors to meet me at Reservoir and Central because I didn't want any confusion of
Yeah,
going
that's
straight to the intersection.
Okay,
So if you want to park your car at the place, that's fine, and I'll meet any fence there.
okay, and then I'll park there at 4:30 for the follow-up one.
Yeah, I just found that trying to describe it, I know exactly where it is. You do, everybody does, but
That's where I met Arrow Fence the first time. I met them right there at the end of Reservoir Drive. For that same reason, it was just easier.
yeah, okay, cool.
Great.
Right, I'll
Thanks,
see you tomorrow.
everyone. Good night.
Okay.
Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.